tao hay competition khang selection sabam jong the category padai khau. Let us go and see how are the students faring in the selection bam thang ta jaw kho. Here in the beginners way the selection of the memory verse thau thau tha primary class selection jaw dikho. Primary students. Getting ready for the selection. Junior, the selection.
Chapter 8, verse 26. And he said to them, why are you afraid, you of little faith? Then he got up and behold the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. Matthew chapter 8, verse 26. Mark chapter 10, verse 52. Go, said Jesus, your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight, and told Jesus alone had gone. Mark chapter 10, verse 52.
The junior students getting ready for the turn to come for the selection of the memory verses.
Then why are you afraid? You of little faith. Then he got up and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. Matthew chapter 8, verse 26. Therefore, These are the beginners. The
selection for the final of the memory verse is going on. The seniors.
Matthew chapter 13 verse 13 to 16. Day 2. Matthew chapter 22 verse 25 to 40. One of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is, love your neighbor as yourself. All the laws and prophets are hanged on these two commandments. Matthew chapter 22 verse 35 to 40. Day 3. John chapter 11 verse 25 to 27. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even though he dies. And whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord, she told him. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who was to come into the world. John chapter 11, verse 25 to 27. Day 4. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18 to 20. Flee from sexual immorality. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18 to 20. Flee from sexual immorality. All the other sins a man commits are outside his body. But he who sins sexually sins against his own body. Do you know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your body. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15 to 20. Day 5. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 to 13. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the power of the dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of the evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12 to 13.
Verse 1 Matthew chapter 13 verses 13 to 16. The reason I speak to them in parable is that seeing they cannot perceive, and hearing did not listen, nor do they understand. With them indeed is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah that says, you will indeed listen but never understand, and you will indeed look but never perceive. But blessed are your eyes for they see, and your ears for they hear. Matthew chapter 13 verses 13 to 16. Day 2. Matthew chapter 22 verses 25 to 40. One of them, an expert in law, tested him with this question. Teacher, this is the greatest commandment in the law. Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is, love your neighbor as yourself. All the laws and prophets hang to these two commandments. Matthew chapter 22 verses 25 to 14. Day 3. John chapter 11 verses 25 to 27. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live even though he died, and whoever lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord, she told him. I believe that you are the Christ, the Son of God, who was to come into the world. John chapter 11 verses 25 to 27. Day 4. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 18 to 20. Flee from sexual immoralities. All the other sin a man commits are outside his body, but he who sins sexually sins against his own body. Do you know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You are bought at a price. So therefore, honor God with your body. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 18 to 20. Day 5. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 and 13. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the ruler, against the authority, against the power of darkness, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Therefore, put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything to stand. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 12 and 13.
That we are thus. There are lots of goodwill believers that always expect more from themselves and feel as if God is never pleased with them. Psalm chapter 103 verse 13 to 14. Day 2. Mark chapter 10 verse 52. Go, said Jesus, your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus along the road. Mark chapter 10 verse 52. Day 3. Matthew chapter 8 verse 26. And he said to them, why are you afraid, you of little faith? Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a dead calm. Matthew chapter 8 verse 26. Therefore, Mark chapter 8 verse 25 to 26. Mi tang si su roi ka me ru khao ban bao lao da te kong na ka mai ma ting na zau pu khao rang ka bung na hao in than na hao te kong na si su roi ka ta ka kai te in hiu la na sa e mi nam ka hai tan nga lam di to. Mark chapter 8 verse 25 to 26. Day 5. Mark chapter 5 verse 36 to 37. But Jesus overheard their conversation and said to Cyrus, do not be afraid. Just believe. He did not let anyone follow him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of them. Mark chapter 5 verse 36 to 37.
Class memory verse day 1 to day 5. Day 1. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14. As the Father compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. For he knows how we are formed. He remembered that we are dust. There are lots of goodwill to live that always expect more from themselves and feel as if God is never pleased with them. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14. Day 2. Mark 10 verse 52. Go, say Jesus, your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sign and followed Jesus along the road. Mark 10 verse 52. Day 3. Matthew 8 verse 26. And he said to them, why are you afraid, you of little faith? Then he got up and rebuked the wind and sea, and there was a dead calm. Matthew 8 verse 26. Day 4. Mark 8 verse 25 to 26. Peter is right, không nào cầm lại mà tiền là gió của họ. Cái đất nào rập cùng mai tràn hậu thể, không mà chỉ sự right các cháu cái thằng cho cái sai. Ni nào cũng hay that Malarito. Mark 8 verse 25 to 26. Day 5. Mark 5 verse 36 to 37. But Jesus overheard their conversation and said to Jairus, do not be afraid, just believe. Do not let anyone follow him, except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. Mark 5 verse 36 to 37.
Last memory verse from day 1 to day 5. Day 1. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14. As a father has compassion on his children, so the Lord has compassion on those who fear him. For he knows how we are formed. He remembered that we are dust. There is a goodwill believers that always expect more from themselves and feel as if God is never pleased with them. Psalm 103 verse 13 to 14. Day 2. Mark chapter 10 verse 52. Go, say Jesus, your faith has healed you. Immediately he received his sight and along the road. Mark chapter 10 verse
high merit.